Do you know what the greatest myth is about working women? Well, if you want to know the answer to that, you're in the right place. Welcome. Today is a special celebration of International Women's Day. And I am celebrating today by honoring my ancestors of working women. This channel is all about working women. My grandmothers, Annie and Rose, died in their 20s and really did not have a chance to have any concept of a career like we do today. However, their daughters, my mother and my Auntie Gwen, they went on to work the rest of their lives into their 60s in various areas of paid employment. The big myth is that in the 70s, we baby boomers, we were the very first. Well, that's a myth. Women have always worked in either factories or ever since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we've had some kind of paid work in our lives, in addition to raising families. My grandmother Annie, her daughter, my Auntie Gwen, went into work in her early teens, into service. And think about Downton Abbey. She worked for a very wealthy family. She often said to me that she was the lucky one compared to her brothers. At least in exchange for her labor, she got a clean bed, clean clothes, and she was guaranteed meals every day. My aunt also probably received a small allowance from the family, but I am pretty sure that allowance went to my grandfather because he was unemployed very many times in his lifetime. Many of the women in those days, even before my Auntie Gwen, I know that my grandmother's mothers and my grandmothers also had paid labor by taking in washing within the community. So they were always adding to the revenue of the home to keep the home going. When World War II began, my Auntie Gwen went into a different type of service. She became part of the Ren Movement, which was the women's auxiliary during the war, who had positions on land, not in combat, but on land to support the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. I also recall her talking about the work that she did in a small arms and munition factory in Birmingham, England, which later retooled after the war to make bicycles and motorcycles. Throughout her working life, she worked basically for the same company, but the company retooled to supply automotive parts. When she finally retired from the factory life, she did not stop working. Actually, she went into a retail area called the Bull Ring in Birmingham, England, and she actually had a stall there. She was an expert seamstress, and she would sew up a blouse or a dress while her clientele shopped the rest of the day in the Bull Ring. So she never really did stop working for the income and to bring income into her family. It didn't matter what weather it was, whether it was a hot summer day or a cold winter, a drizzly day in Britain, she was in her stall working. And that was when she was in her 50s and into her early 60s. Rose's daughter, my mom, actually started working when she was 15, straight out of school. She worked for Cadbury's, one of the largest employers in Birmingham, England. And just think of the skit from I Love Lucy, where the chocolates are coming down the conveyor belt. That's always the endearing thought I have my mom at 15 years old, having these chocolates in front of her all day. Later in her teens, she worked for the same factory as my Auntie Gwen, and that's actually where she met my dad. And so when my mom and dad were married, my mom stopped working for a brief time, just shortly after I was born, and then went back to work in various other types of paid labor. Here is a picture of my Auntie Gwen and my mom in their early 20s. This is the day that we're seeing my dad off to Canada. He came to Canada 5 months before we did. So my mom continued to work until my brother and I came over to Canada in August of 1957. During her working career in Canada, she was a parts assembler, shipper receiver, and a cocktail hostess again, twice in her lifetime. She was so good at that particular job. When she was not working in a factory or a restaurant or a hotel or in a cocktail lounge, she looked after children. She provided daycare for other working women. So throughout the 60s and the early 70s, she looked after other children so that other women could go to work. This is when my mom broke the myth for me, telling me one day that I would not be the first generation of working women, that women have worked for a wage for many years, even if it was just to subsidize the family income or for the essentials of putting food on the family table. I hope you enjoyed this video today with the many pictures of my grandmothers and my aunt and my mom. If you did enjoy this video today, please give a working woman a smile today and let her know how much she is appreciated for all her contributions, bringing families into this world and also supporting the economy. Please give us a like and please subscribe if you'd like to watch other types of videos like this. I interview women who are enjoying their work after 60. I also interview women entrepreneurs and also those women who are returning to work during and after cancer treatment. Your subscription would be appreciated, and also please share with anyone else who you think that would love this kind of information. Thank you and have a great day, and I hope you have lots to celebrate today on International Women's Day. I will be at a breakfast this morning, and then this evening I will be going into another small city to go to a dinner to celebrate on my part for International Women's Day. One last photo to share of my mom and my Auntie Gwen. Here they are my mom is in her late 60s and my aunt is in her early 70s. One thing I have to say about these two, their friendship lasted for many decades and they worked very hard, but they also had great fun. And that's what it's all about. So let's keep on working and let's have fun.